Yeah, I'm wondering. They need to get something, I feel like, to kind of synergize with the Inkswell. I mean, a lot of just typical melee offlaners generally do pretty well with Grimstroke. Alternatively, you're looking at one of your cores.
10
The
seconds
Spirit heroes
remaining.
are usually good, whether that's Storm or Void Spirit. Ember
5
being the best, but
seconds
that's been
remaining.
taken. So, and the other thing is, yeah, obviously combos with the Soulbind. I think those are kind of
Radiant team pick.
in a way a little overrated in terms of like you can pick Grimstroke and not have anything to synergize with Soulbind and the hero is still good. I think you need to make sure that everything else the hero does is nice. Those are like the cherry on top. Bane with Soulbind, like getting a double Fiend's Grip off, unlikely, but definitely possible. We'll see
10
where we
seconds
will see where
remaining.
Lilgun go. I think they picked their offlane here, as mentioned. They want to save that last pick to
5
you know,
seconds
at least
remaining.
scare Nigma Galaxy into thinking, oh, might they flex this hero? I just checked up 423's Dota buff. He's played 3 games of TA in competitive Dota in his entire career out of like, hundreds and hundreds of games. So very small sample size, but he won all 3 of those games. They were 5 to 6 months ago. So he hasn't played it in 5 months, but it theoretically could happen, which is the
Dire
scary thing,
team pick.
especially when you're down again.
How do you feel about the Lesh carry? Because it's something that Nigma Galaxy really like to run for In Your Dream. Are you a fan of it?
It seems like a playstyle thing for them that works really well. I'd say, yeah, I'm a fan of it. It
10
works.
seconds remaining.
It's a kind of tempo here, and I think it's something they fall back on when
5
like their
seconds
late
remaining.
game turtle strats don't work as well, which is what we saw in game 1. So to me, it's a sign of their kind of versatility in playstyle. It's unfortunate they haven't found a way to do this with maybe other heroes for him. Like the way we saw 423 play this like fighting BKB Rush Monkey King, or like a lot of carry players are doing with Razor. I think that's something that In Your Dream isn't as good on, but it's nice that he has this one hero that he can go to when they want to play
Radiant
like a
team
more
banned.
aggressive, fast-paced game of Dota. So, given that game 1 was like a 20-minute high ground Rax game with a TA, I think Leshrac is a hero that the tempo of this hero can match the TA, even though I don't think the matchup is kind of interesting. Like Leshrac can burn through refraction pretty well. At the same time, TA is like huge
10
burst damage, and that's
seconds
something that can
remaining.
be kind of scary for Lesh to play into. So it's not a matchup that necessarily is
5
favored
seconds
strongly either way,
remaining.
but in
Dire
terms of
team
tempo, Lesh is
banned.
good here.
It is nice that at least they have some way to protect the Lesh with the Shadow Demon. I think you have to draft this hero with something like an Oracle. We saw was one of those go-to combos for quite some time. So at least having some way to pair that together. As we head to the last phase here with the picks, do you reckon they flex the Spirit Breaker? Currently, they banned out the Beastmaster, so they actually feel like this is going to be a Yokam Spirit.
Radiant team pick.
Yeah, maybe that's based on some of the recent games where they played Spirit Breaker more in that support role. But yeah, they banned the Beastmaster with the Aya. So they banned one of each. I think they're looking at like, what would they get to really buff up this Leshrac? An Io Breaker lane with an Io,
10 seconds
healing and
remaining.
buffing Leshrac in the mid game sounds pretty damn scary. So
5 seconds
surprising perhaps that
remaining.
Io makes it this far in the draft, but these two teams are not like huge Io teams, which is kind of the reason why. I would say the Spirit Break, it's just flex. If they're going to see what hero pairs best with it, they could even pick a 5 here. If you mentioned the Oracle. I think if Oracle was like a good hero right now, this would be a good time to pick Oracle and, play it with the Leshrac and really give it that save potential. But with that said, I don't think Oracle's the best pick.
Are there any voids you feel like they need to kind of fill then with this last pick?
Looking at their draft, I don't think so. I think they can kind of look at Logan like they've got,
Dire
good,
team
decent
pick.
enough team fight. I don't think there's anything missing from their draft in terms of like it's well rounded. Leshrac and Ember, you've got a mix of different types of damage. You've got objective taking. You've got a save in Shadow Demon. You've got initiation Spirit Breaker. So they pick Weaver. They like, okay, our draft has everything. We don't need to tick any of these. All the boxes that you need to tick in a good draft. They say, what's an OP hero? Let's get Weaver. Last pick. This is still in the pool. Why not?
Remaining.
All right, well, for Lilgun, they're looking for the 11 hero in the offlane, some way to really start these fights, and maybe the duo with that Grimstroke, Inkswell as well. So they need some catch for the Weaver, some way to be able to blow up the Shadow Demon.
Yeah, their draft, it's okay. Like they've got enough maybe disables between like Wraith King Stun, the Grimstroke Silence. Like Weaver's not like a uncounterable hero, and particularly the Bane. Like the Weaver's biggest strength is usually the laning stage, and if you have a Bane in that lane, I think they do okay enough. But we'll see where Lilgun go. The offlane pool is pretty limited. I was surprised to see them actually pick the Wraith King just in that situation, because usually I was expecting them to last pick a core, and they're going to go Underlord, which is
that a hero?
You know, yeah, exactly. That's a good question. If I saw this happen in a European game just last night. I was watching before I headed to bed, and a team pick Underlord, and the panel were like, "Ooh, it's Underlord. Is this a hero?" And it was against Spirit Breaker, I want to say. It was against a Puck as well. So it was like, okay, here's two heroes that hate playing against Root. Puck, you phase shift, you just put the Pit of Malice on top, and he's going to get rooted when he comes out. Spirit Breaker, you try and charge in, there's going to be the Root waiting for you. So it's very good against some of these heroes, but at the same time, it's an Underlord, You're like, you're not feeling great about the fact you picked Underlord, I would say, in most competitive Dota games.
This was a hero that Lilgun utilized a lot in last DPC. They were able to kind of stall out a decent amount of games where they were waiting for Sanctity's win condition hero to come online and then really be that threat. But it doesn't really look like they were needing that type of hero. We were kind of looking at the bag of picks left to initiate and combine with the Grimstroke, and then really get on top of some of the key components of Nigma Galaxy. You said the root is very good, and definitely not denying that, but starting fights is really on the Wraith King now.
Yeah, maybe he goes for an Atos to get a bit of extra catch. But yeah, the Underlord is that kind of defensive counter hero rather than like, hey, I'm going to go initiate. So pressure may be a bit more elsewhere. It does feel like it's a similar game plan, though, all in all, for Lilgun, where, play the lanes to not lose, and then hit this timing in the mid game where TA comes online. You take Aegis, you barrel down lanes. The Underlord can kind of fill the gap of getting all those team-oriented items. If you want to, get the auras and whatnot, you can do so. If you need more catch, you can get the Atos. So the Underlord's kind of that jack of all trades in terms of itemization. And I think it very much just feels like another TA game where they're trying to snowball the mid game. But potentially a game where it's a bit more difficult to do, because I don't think Nigma Galaxy, I know they haven't gone as greedy, and they're going to be more ready to fight and contest Roshan. They're playing on Radiant, and also just to defend their towers.
Well, how do we feel about this second game? Do we think Nigma Galaxy can push it to the distance and make it to that game 3, or can they go back to back here with Sanctity's Templar Assassin?
I think I would lean Nigma Galaxy. They've changed up their draft quite a bit against the TA, and it always feels like you lose against something, as we have to say, it's how, losing that's when you learn the most. So they've definitely learned a bit better about how to play into TA and what this hero does. Obviously, they played countless games against TA, but it's fresh in their mind. The TA timings and how to maybe counterplay against them, what can happen if things, go astray in their game plan. So I believe Nigma Galaxy are prepared to, deal with TA at all stages of this game.
Yeah, definitely in agreement with how they've been able to adapt to the Templar Assassin. I'd just put them a little bit on edge as well, but the game gets later and later, you're going to be really worried about how the TA and Wraith King, their damage output overall. They are kind of lacking ways. It feels like Radiant's lineup is a little bit easier to execute, but Dire with that potential just to maybe steamroll an advantage. Sanctity getting Aegis. I'm a bit worried on though how much farm he can get afterwards, at least after the lane, because I think Nigma Galaxy with the Ember and the rest of the heroes, they can just look to invade the jungle and put a lot of pressure on TA.
Yeah, already a lot of harass being exchanged in the mid lane, and yeah, I think the big change kind of on that point when it comes to putting pressure on this TA and how this game's going to go is I don't think the TA can kind of solo carry the way she did last game. I think this game is going to come down to more of 4-2-3 on the Wraith King. Last game, there wasn't 4-2-3 didn't need to do as much. He was this space creating carry. This time around, I think he does need to actually carry on some level, because TA has been addressed more with the draft.
Could this be a bit awkward though? Because the Monkey King was perfect with his itemization. We saw it was almost a tempo controlling first item BKB into Diffusal Blade, but it really feels like Wraith King, your only build is pretty cookie cutter. It's like, phase, armlet, Deso into Blink. You can't really take a detour away from that.
Yep. I agree, and it's also when you mention that, yeah, both TA and Wraith King want to go Deso. I wonder if they both get it, or maybe one of them just has to skip the item, because typically you're not feeling good if you get 2 Desos on your team.
Me a picture.
Maybe that's where Wraith King goes Armlet into some other kind of itemization, but I don't know. Playing Wraith King without Deso, it doesn't feel nice. It's such a cost-effective damage item. If either skips it, maybe, I don't know. But at the same time, playing TA without Deso doesn't feel good. So, double Deso, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that's something the panel brought up in, I think, one of the recent games in Div 1. The fact that one team went 2 Deso builders and they were just like, no, it just feels really awkward. Like, what are you going to do? And how are you going to build your lineup here? It's just one has to go for something unconventional, and then, you know, that's not why they're in the meta. Like, they're in the meta for this Deso build that they have at the moment.
Yeah, the only deviation I could maybe think of is like a Silver Edge Wraith King, maybe as an alternative. Like, but it's not the same. We'll see later on. That's that's a problem to work. Get to that point if you're getting these heroes both Deso, you're feeling good about the game.
There you go, Ken. It's able to chase down the Vayne under the tower. Nigma.SEA will hit first in our second game. Bottom, the action continuing to break out as the Grimstrokes need some assistance, but what can Underlord do in the lane when your support's getting chased down from the combo of the Shadow Demon and the Leshrac? You just have to stand there and watch.
Yeah, you can't do much. And I'm sure, and Grimstroke's also saying, like, what can Grimstroke do in this lane? I don't have a 3 position. This Underlord, like, your passive does nothing really early on. Or, like, it doesn't really help out the support at any point. Firestorm is like this low damage nuke because you can just walk out of it. So this Underlord Grimstroke lane is super lackluster. All they can really do is just nuke waves and farm. I definitely don't expect Lilgun to be getting any kills or winning this bottom lane. Best case scenario, they just get some decent farm on Underlord.
Yeah, and well, for the boys on Radiant, they have a very high kill threat lane, as we're going to see once again. And just a banishment to set up for the Split Earth. It's a combo that we saw for quite some time in Dota when Lesh was attempting to be flexed as a position 4.
Yeah, Mizu was just keeping them at bay with those bugs. One more bash and he would have killed either 423 or Ace there, but instead it's bottom lane where another kill goes the way of Nigma Galaxy. Grimstroke dies once again, so this bottom lane feels like a real weak point of Lilgun's. Now the Shikuchi on top.
There we go, and that's a big one. You were saying how weak they were previously just to be able to pick up the Wraith King there, who's a really strong laner, but again going against the Weaver, who they left in the pool. And Yokem, I mean, we're seeing how much work he's able to put with it. He's already got the urn.
Yeah, this seems like a mega value last pick. Like, there's a reason why most teams are just overall first picking Weaver, and getting it with your last pick to pair with a Spirit Breaker, like, that is some serious value out of a last pick. And they didn't have that final, like, overall final pick of the draft, so they weren't trying to save it for a core. Weaver finding some couriers, just doing pesky things.
Wait, do you see how much was on the courier?
What? Oh boy.
I can't even list off the amount of things. Double set of Tango, maybe a couple Mangos, a Selv. It was literally all of Bane's net worth pretty much in the resources. So now they're lane. I mean, how are you going to sustain that?
Yeah, I'm not sure you can easily.
And mid
Maybe
as well.
This is how
Kishka's in trouble. He's going to make his movement. They're able to assassinate the Grimstroke at the back of the tier 1 tower. This is just Nigma.SEA. You've secured your side lanes this early on, and now you're looking to combine up with the Ember Spirit with this first catapult timing.
Oh boy, that's a great time for moving. That's how you sustain up top, you know? The Weaver, he rotates off and suddenly, at least, Wraith King's a little bit happier, but I don't think Lilgun as a team are happier because that's a nice find in the mid lane. 5 kills and a lot of damage on this tier 1 tower as they keep this siege wagon alive.
Do they dive? I mean, Sanctity's already lost the refraction charges. Maybe they'll go for the easier kill in the Grimstroke, continuing to stack up the early damage they've done so far with 6 kills to the name.
Behold,
Even Sanctity still being pressured, not getting his bottle charges off because of shadow poisons and urn ticks. He can't bottle up. Does have a refraction, so we'll be okay here, but this is so much pressure from Nigma Galaxy.
It's just a completely different outlook on how they can deal with the Templar Assassin. Bring 2 supports to mid, kill the die supports continuously because they have to protect Sanctity. And if you're not getting kills, at least it's the fact that Sanctity's not free farming.
Nice TP home. He left the Remnant, so Alacrity can just Remnant back to lane if he wants to.
Hey, Underlord, what's up, my guy? Let's TP in. Not much a hero can do. Oh, there we go. That's a good combo. What a scary threat.
Yeah, I think it's scary because you're just like, what the hell is this? You know, it's the surprise factor where you're just like this big dude who does nothing, ink swelled up, and then you walk away.
Again, this is just such a completely different outlook. They've blocked up his Ancients. They've got a really deep Observer Ward already at the triangle. Alacrity stole I think a double stack at the hard. Might be in a little bit of trouble. They're going to try and find the combination with the Ink Swell, but they woke him up too early. So Alacrity's out to safety. Sanctity does get some retribution, though, with a 3x killing streak over on Yokam.
Not bad, but it took a lot of resources. That was like 4 Lilgun heroes, which means both supports are, you know, trying to salvage this game. 423 is getting no help, so he's forced back into the jungle. Doesn't want to lane against the Spirit Breaker with potential, you know, Nigma Galaxy support rotations in. So a lot of farm just going Nigma Galaxy's way. They've got the top 3 net worth heroes early on, and they're going to just keep applying pressure. I imagine that, you know, the call is going to be, let's keep fighting once our Leshrac gets an item.
And, well, they're going to keep fighting before he gets it. Bottom lane setting up on 11. They don't have the damage just yet. Underlord's still relatively tanky with the early Soul Ring to beef him up. But Inner Dream's got enough mana to be able to chase down the Grimstroke, and now even Yokam is looking to provide his extra damage to find the kill onto the Underlord. It's 11. And it's not going to tick him down, but the big issue is you've now got the Space Cow charging across the map as Mizu gets that last little bit of damage. Level 7 available, so he's got the Nether Strike to bounce back the Bane to a extra death.
Yokam dodges the Stroke of Fate. Level 1 only, so not sure what they're going to kill here. Is they're very low on the Nigma Galaxy side here, but they still want more. They want more kills. They're not done.
Yokam. Wrong button. Actually use the smoke instead of the dust. It's all good.
Oh, yeah, I was like, that's an interesting smoke. He's got no one with him. They'll go for the easier kills. They'll take the supports.
Yeah, even Ace 12 has got to be cautious too. Oh, man, they just dive underneath the T1 tower. What are you really worried about? Wraith King's not going to look to get involved. Underlord's no threat. T2 might be a little bit more of a difficult beast to overcome.
Don't you undersell Underlord like that. He just sniped that Shadow Demon kill in the back lines. It was like a 100 health Shadow Demon. He's like, oh, I got this.
I got the help of the Atrophy hero. This is what I built for.
Yeah.
That's why they drafted me. I'm sniping heroes. My 335 movement speed. Sanctity's going to try and snipe Alacrity as well. But who's baiting who? Who's doing the damage? Alacrity's actually winning the man fight at the moment. A Remnant out to safety, though. He's not going to stick around too long to see if he's going to be the victor or not.
Yeah, Pelosin hit some poisons or could get a little close to that. Could have gone pretty bad for him. 10-minute rune coming up. Ember would love a top rune regen. Arcane rune. He'll take that. Unfortunately for TA, that means this Ember can stay active on the map.
Alright, so we were putting a lot of emphasis before on kind of the TA Wraith King itemization and how this game's going to fare overall with how 423 can provide his impact. He's gotten a lot of space with all the brawling and skirmishes we've seen mid to bottom. 423's been free farming. Second in net worth at the moment. Is he their angle back into this game?
They're hoping so. I usually Wraith King, though, you need, like, it's not like you just come online with Armlet. Like, some of these heroes, you get Armlet, you're ready to fight. Like, you know, like the Marses and stuff. More the offlaners. Wraith King isn't really that hero. He's only got the 1 point in his Wraith Fire Blast, so it's not like he's this really great fighter right now or anything. So I don't think he's their way back in this game yet. Eventually he can be, but the problem is what happens before we get to that point. And, you know, Nigma Galaxy are just naturally going to fight better with the pick-off potential of Ember, the pushing potential of Leshrac, but they need to make sure they don't get outnumbered.
No, they're looking to set up top in your dream. And fighting the Underlord at the moment, he's got some assistance with Polison and Mizu waiting in the wings. Now that Lilgun supports have shown up to the party, they're not going to make the attempt deep under the tower.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Good discipline. Like, they could have gone for and probably killed the Underlord, but they may have lost a hero or two in the process. So they, they say, okay, if he's TPing in, that means the supports are TPing in.
Well, it looks like they're going to make the
Let's
attempt
wait.
now. I don't know, 11. He's pretty beefy with the help of the cloak, so they're going to target down the supports initially, as Kishka will lose the life, and now, without the tower as well for the extra reinforcements, it's going to be Yokem to find the double kill, but they're not done just yet. The train continues to roll on. 13 kills for Nigma.SEA, and they're looking to make it a 14th deep underneath the tier 2 tower.
Yeah, just really good
Dire's middle
just
tower
team
is under
coordination at the
attack.
tower. They waited, they were patient, then they used the poison to scout and get vision, make sure they know how many heroes are up there. They got vision of the supports. I think prioritizing killing those supports is the key thing if you want to dive that tier 1 tower, and that's why they didn't hard commit on the Underlord at first, because, that could have gone badly for them. So they chill, they wait for backup to arrive, they dive the supports, take a tier 1 mid as well to follow it up, or they're looking to. If they can get this tier 1 mid to go with that top tower, this game starts to look really good for Nigma.SEA.
And this is the powerful thing about the Underlord, though, which naturally we see the hero picked up, is to defend towers. But the fact that you've already lost tier 1 top and now middle feels like a big value of the hero is completely wasted.
Yeah, that is definitely a worry. Like, that is such a good point, because you don't want to be just sitting back. Like, I don't know. I mean, he is a turtle hero, but it's kind of like, what are you turtling for? I don't consider like TA this hero that you want to be playing from behind with. And Underlord, typically, if you're sitting back defending towers, you're often having this carry that's trying to come back into the game. Wraith King, similar-ish story where he's not going to be able to easily just farm it up and get back into this game the same way some of the anti-mage type heroes or the Morphlings can. So even though Nigma.SEA don't have like a super hard late game carry, they have Leshrac Ember as their cores. They have these heroes still scale well, and they take objectives and map control really well. So they're going to just build up a really big lead, I imagine.
Weaver should be okay. Still got Sakuchi and the ultimate to play with. He's even got Mizo as well for some assistance. So I'll blow up the Bane. And I mean, again, we're just seeing how completely different of an outlook they have on this game. The consistency in blocking up the camps, really just to minimize the farm that TA and the Wraith King can get, but also just the aggressiveness across the map from all their heroes. And they're not done just yet. Mizu gonna look to charge on one of the other supports as Kishka will be banished safely under the tower. Alacrity, though, still not really worried about too many stuns. Ace 12 not having the Fiend's Crypt to be able to penalize his position. But Mizu, they don't have the damage at the moment, and a little bit too deep of an objective to claim. So they'll try and charge up to the Spirit Breaker. It does leave the Grimstroke vulnerable, but you're pretty happy with the trade that you're getting when you're this far behind.
Yeah, they didn't have all the numbers and the cores there. Alacrity feeling like he couldn't really go diving in. Doesn't have the maxed out Sleight of Fist, so that higher cooldown kind of limiting the place he could make in that fight, especially once he got Nightmared and Leshrac not there. So I think Nigma.SEA back off. They kind of cut their losses. They don't give away any kind of really big juicy target. The Spirit Breaker dying, nice for Lilgun, but it's not like a game changer what just happened there for them.
And silently, In Your Dream is been getting a lot of farm. Silently, he's 4-0-4. He's still had a lot of impact this game, but almost a Bloodstone completed, and we're just seeing the space that's created. And I guess the one downside to Radiant's lineup is that they can continue to butt their head into Lilgun, but it doesn't feel like they have the greatest Roshan taking lineup.
Yeah, it gets okay with the bugs and then like the Leshrac damage. Oh, Mizu bites off more than you can chew, yeah.
And our top as well.
The Fiend Script used and
4-2-3.
can they find?
Make an attempt on Yokem. In fact, there's going to be the supports on Radiant to turn it back around. 4-2-3, still got the ultimate available. They're deep behind the objective, so Lilgun, they will have the reinforcement to show up in the nick of time with a beautiful pit. They'll look to target down the Leshrac, but they use the Bloodstone active. They won't have the damage to secure the kill previously. And now they can turn it back around as Alacrity is going to get involved as well. It's going to be cautious. The Centaur Conqueror almost playing into the hand of Lilgun with that extra control, but now Sanctity. He's lost his team. He's going to lose his life as well, as Radiant lose no one.
I can't believe they lost nobody there. That looked like a pretty decent bait with the reincarnation. I mean, it wasn't intended to be a bait, but he bought enough time that his entire team could rotate in. Bane, oh no. Going for a snipe on the Ember. Not sure what he was pushing forward for, but He dies as well. Like, the reincarnation bought time for all the rotations to come back. They synergized pretty well with their spells, and their initial initiation from the Underlord was actually pretty good with the Pit of Malice, but they just didn't have the damage to kind of come out on top of the fight, because 423, you know, he's not that farmed on the Wraith King yet. Also was on the back foot in TA. No Deso. If they had that Deso on TA, I think that fight could have been really good for Lilgun.
It definitely looked like the best fight they probably have had so far, like you said, with how they started with the Pit and the Firestorm, but unfortunately just lacking a little bit of damage in the tank. You know, could cost them a way back into this game, because now Radiant, they're looking to set up for a smoke. They feel like they've hit their timings. Alacrity just finding the Kaya, and they're going to try and brute force up the high ground. Eurocam will be leading the charge. Dire, they've got okay vision in the area, but to start the fight on the Grimstroke, he's had enough time to find at least the Soul Mine to minimize Mizu's effect at the moment, but they can turn it back around, landing the Nether Strike on Sanctity, and instantly, Refraction taking care of the health soon to follow, and they've still got the high ground ward to play with, so 11 is going to be forced to use the ultimate to Uber out to safety.
Yep, that's how it was actually pretty funny. The ulti, I think Mizu thought he was using Pit of Malice, so he canceled his charge.
Nice.
Oh, we're not done getting kills.
It's going to have the assistance of Mizu. He was just able to turn it back around, getting a little bit too aggressive there. And Fiend's grip without a cancel onto the tower. Surprised about how much damage there was.
Swooping back for the mid tier 2 tower. Maxed out Edict. These towers falling fast, and 19 Bloodstone charges already for In Your Dream. 5, 0, and 7.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
For Lilgun, they need to just find some items to come online soon. Like, that's why this Wraith King's going for this BKB build, so he can just frontline. And again, it's similar to last game, except he's trying to do this on Wraith King, not a Monkey King, but he's almost like playing the same style where he takes the frontline, initiates, but it's just not a good initiator hero.
It's not. I mean, he's trying to make
He hasn't got
work
ulti.
what he can, but with ulti still on cooldown, 423 is once again biting off a little bit more than he can chew. The reveal of the blink not working off in their favor, and now Lilgun are going to lose an extra hero as well. We'll make him work for it. Look at old Bane just, yeah, you think you can heal me? Oh yeah, underneath the tier 2 tower too. Mizu, just look at the +1 that they can get. That's the thing about the Spirit Breaker. You guarantee a kill. Let's charge on forward and get another, and they're not done. Utilizing their deep vision to perfection as Polison is caught out 11. It doesn't have the Demonic Purge to use, unfortunately, so 11's okay.
Dire's middle tower.
Tier 2
has
tower, so they can take the outpost. They're running that way immediately, so full map control, full just game 2 control going the way of Nigma Galaxy, as they are just running over.
Sanctity might kill Mizu. Oh no, he didn't get the...
Okay.
He was spraying the trap with the meld. He should still find it afterwards. Alright, that's Desert completed now.
That works. Not bad. That's something. It's hard though. They're playing on Dire side, so it's getting Roshan is just, I mean, they're so far behind, even if it doesn't matter what side they're on, they're getting run over. So getting Roshan is probably just impossible either way. And I think playing TA this game without an Aegis is going to be really challenging for him. Even if he can finish a BKB, you know, it feels like he's going to get kited quite heavily by things like the Spirit Breaker with the Nether Strike. Here's like Weaver and Shadow Demon with the Demonic Purge as well. So there's a lot of things that make his life very hard.
Are you watching me? Just
Yeah,
4
okay.
heroes bodying the DD. Alright, well, that's Deso. I don't know. You have to take the perfect fight in a choke point where Soulbind gets full utilization, where the pit is perfect, and Sanctity just can, you know, utilize that Deso and Sideblades.
Yeah. This bottle DD, it's kind of those things, if you're taking a fight, you're acknowledging you have to either purge it off with Shadow Demon or just focus the TA and kill Sanctity. Alternatively, you can just stall it out. Like, eventually this DD is going to auto-pop if you wait a couple of minutes, so... You know, they don't have to find this DD if they don't want, but at the same time, this is a TA without BKB, without Blink, so I don't actually think they're going to be that scared of a TA DD.
And it's actually Radiant that are just looking to move into Roche. They got the bugs, they got the medallion on Eurocam.
Yeah, they enough damage at this point. You know, it's not all crazy physical damage, but even with magic damage, killing Roshan, no problem at all for them. And no contest in sight for Lilgun. It's just so hard. They don't have vision up, so they don't, you know, they have maybe an idea that Roche is possible, but they don't know for sure. They could just be walking into a trap, and they don't have any good or easy way to start a fight. That's, you know, they're trying to use Wraith King as that because they picked Underlord. He's not an initiator, so Wraith King's being forced to go this like Blink BKB build. And it's just not working out for them.
A mysterious force.
I mean, 10,000 deficit in game 2 was very favored for Lilgun in game 1 with how they're able to perform, but I mean, now backs against the wall is are going to continue to use this net worth advantage just to sweep across the map. They've still got some outer towers left to claim, and it looks like Nigma.SEA are going to play this one very methodical, just going from bottom and then maybe thinking about sieging high ground with the last remaining mid of the ages.
Don't seem aware of Sanctity down this bottom lane. If the smoke pops, they might figure out that the TA is nearby, and they have got detection, but doesn't look like they're going to walk close enough to the TA to find Sanctity.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Do Lilgun go for some kind of wraparound play? I just can't see it working.
Dire's bottom tower
Not without
is under
BKBs,
attack.
and does feel like Nigma Galaxy can be the
Radiant's
ones who can
courier
just
has
barrel
been
down these
killed.
lanes. And even, yeah, they could theoretically threaten high ground here. TA is just cutting waves to try and
Dire's
delay and
bottom
stall the
tower
push.
is under attack.
I'm thinking if Polison goes Ag Shard next item, maybe you're gonna have second Roshan at that stage, but sounds like it's gonna be that's quite the item to play with the Leshrac.
Yeah, I wonder, dispelling what Nightmare this game, the roots from the Under. That does sound pretty damn nice.
Even just the healing aspect, I think, too, of it as well.
Yep.
Because we've spoke about the Oracle is one of the better pairings with the Leshrac, Shadow Demon. It's got a save, it doesn't really have that healing aspect, so if you can look to itemize into it. Who are they running into? Mizu? Will get picked off, so Lilgun are doing a good job at playing around kind of the only position they have right now in regards to their wards, but Radiant, they've sniffed this out instantly. 4-man maneuver, they're going to try and chase down Ace 12. Who have they found instead, though? Looks like it's going to be the more valuable targeting Sanctity. He'll at least try and get a kill before he dies, and he'll be successful at that.
All right, all right. I mean, you take that, not happily because TA dies there, but Bane did a good job nightmaring the heroes coming in. Well, nightmaring the Leshrac coming in and then just TPing out, but unfortunately for TA, didn't have a good escape plan, so, you know, losing TA not ideal, but it's okay. Like, killing 2 heroes for 1, even when you're losing your mid laner at this point, you just got to take what you can get if you're in Lilgun's shoes, and they can continue to use this vision. They're sniping couriers, they're farming this Radiant jungle. It's just annoying for Nigma Galaxy because they want to be pressing forward and playing on the enemy side of the map, so coming back to, you know, playing their own jungle is just
4-2-3.
It's a nuisance.
He needs to blink now.
Blink, yeah. Looking for him with the courier, and they don't find him, so again, this is good play. This is how you get back in the game. You just kind of pull them around, try and be like puppeteers, and just make them keep coming back to try and hunt you. And then if you can juke them out or just cut, you know, try and minimize. There's going to be some feeding coming in from Lilgun. Like, that's essential for them to win this game. Like, they're going to have to just throw bodies to cut waves, split push, do stuff like that. Like, if Wraith King dies there, like, you know, that's obviously bad, but he has to put himself in these positions where he might die in order to get Lilgun back into this game.
And it does feel like Nigma.SEA are going to really struggle with going high ground, though. You're against an Underlord, you're against the Grimstroke, so just naturally the wave clearing aspect, and also the scary factor of how much damage you can output if you heavily commit with like a TA and a Wraith King. It's not an easy siege by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. They don't commit to the charge here. They're going to poke and prod and wait for the Edict probably and prioritize the Leshrac being the one to siege. Only 48 seconds left on this Aegis, so they don't have long to really go for this high ground play.
Try and do whatever damage they can at the moment. I mean, see how much the Firestorm is doing, though.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Like you say, not easy to push into this. They're going to have to back off. And no high ground with Aegis #1, it seems. But I think the better play for Nigma Galaxy at this point is just kind of slow rolling the game. This is what you see. You know, those top Division 1, Tier 1 teams who go for these late game strats, like, even without a true late game carry, they can still just play this, like, starvation Dota.
Ace 12.
Kill enemy heroes when they come out of the map.
That they're
Like the
doing at the
Bane.
moment. And now they're even going to look to jump Sanctity too, who's caught outside. He's got the BKB, but they've already burnt through way too much of the health for it to provide anything to the hero. Now Alacrity is looking to catch out some stragglers. Lilgun quick on the feet back inside the base, but with 2 heroes down, let's see if they can start to poke the high ground.
I think they're still just going to be playing, you know, the kind of keep them in their base. They're going to look to just shepherd Lilgun into their base so they're not farming. Like the game, I think this best game plan for them right now isn't going for these like high ground pushes. Oh, Weaver
Top lane. Yeah.
gets ganked. That was a cheeky little smoke play. They just smoked out with 2, knowing Weaver was there, and they pick him off. But yeah, Nigma Galaxy want to just play like the farm game where they're farming more of the map than Lilgun are, and any Lilgun heroes that leave their base, you want to hunt them down. But you got to be careful not to, you know, spread your resources too thin. That's kind of what was happening there with Yokam being a little bit greedy, playing top side of the map by himself, and Lilgun recognizing it. So you don't want to get picked off. That's how Lilgun get back into the game.
Do you feel like the bottom? 11's right. Do you feel like there might be value for an earliest gem for Radiant, considering how much of an issue it's been just with the vision that Lilgun have had?
100%. Yeah, that's definitely against TA with the traps, and you're in this game. Whenever you're in that position where you're trying to starve out your opponents, keep them bottled up, force them to turtle, having a gem to deward their vision is always feels good. Against a TA, doubly so. But Lilgun may be interested in taking some fights soonish because they've got that BKB on TA now. So this game can start to look a bit different. Even 4-2-3's got a BKB. So, well, this game has been old Nigma Galaxy so far. 10k gold lead, 29-11 kill lead. These BKBs do change the dynamic of this game quite drastically.
Again, the ideal fight for them is going to be around a choke point area, though, where you're able to lay down the pit, utilize the Soulbind to get rid of this high mobility factor, which we're going to see come into play. Alacrity blows up the Bane. They're looking for the additional target, but it goes back into the Pit of Malice. So it's going to be cautious because now they found the Soulbind leash. Can they blow him up throughout the duration? They're doing a great job to control Sanctity. The damage is lacking at the moment. They just double back, baiting them outside the base, and now the Templar Assassin getting ripped apart. As there's no answer at the moment, as 4-2-3 is going to continue to stand his ground, but they've lost the first life, and now the second round is over and done with. As Polison, further in they go. The buybacks, you know, raining Nigma Galaxy in. They've got to be a little bit more cautious. There's that choke point fight. The Pit of the Firestorm doing a ridiculous amount of damage on In Your Dream, and he'll be condemned. 3 down. Nicely done, but again, how much are they going to get out of that in regards to golden experience?
Yeah, they need to try push out these lanes, take some towers, or get some follow-up kills, but Mizu's already TP'd out, so good use of the buybacks. Like, if you buy back there just to, like, save your high ground and not get kills, it sucks. It doesn't feel good. That's how you just, you know, you're throwing away gold at nothing, but getting those kills, sick Pit of Malice, you know. 3 heroes caught, 11 saying, you know, I hear what you're saying about Underlord. You know, this hero can do something, but it's still not looking or feeling great for Lilgun, but it's little steps in the right direction. The problem is the heroes getting all those kills aren't the heroes you want the comeback gold going to. Wraith King and TA were dead. It was Underlord getting a 3-hero Pit of Malice and then Grimstroke hitting them all with a Stroke of Fate to do like some crazy magic damage. I think, yeah, the problem is Wraith King and TA, you know, you want them staying alive, getting killed, and suddenly like being 2,000 gold richer. But we'll see both teams now posturing around. Next Roshan's already respawned, and we'll see if Lilgun have the ways to kind of scout this one out and play around it. They've got a TA trap in the pit. That's something I'm going to imagine that Weaver is, or somebody's going to need some sentries or gem for, because you do not want to give Lilgun a chance to take Roshan or catch you by surprise when you're going for Roshan.
Yeah, and the fact that you brought up just previously is that the important heroes on Dire aren't the one finding the kills, so their trajectory into that next item is just continuing to slow down, where we see Radiant, you know, Alacrity's playing with the Aghanims. We just saw Yokam complete his own Aghanims as well now, so multiple defensive factors and a ridiculous amount of magical damage.
To Roshan they go. The TA trap being cleared out, so doesn't look like Lilgun feel like they've got the map control, the vision, or, you know, maybe just they don't feel they're strong enough to contest this at all. They also just don't have a read perhaps on what's going on, because they're smoked up and they're playing down bottom, or invis up on the Bane, not smoke. Not finding any pickoffs as they'd perhaps hoped to.
Aegis Aghanim Shard as well picked up here for the boys on Radiant. I believe the Shard was given over to Alacrity, so yeah, perfect timing as soon as the Aghanims is completed. I'm gonna see just such a messy fight. He's even got Lotus Orb now too, so Alacrity, it's just the name of the game is that extra armor is a big factor. We've seen how Leshrac is itemized, his, you know, Shiva's even holding the Blast Rig at the moment.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, this feels really nice, this Lotus Orb. You can put on the Leshrac when he's high grounding too, so it's like this item that helps you out, but in certain situations, like an Aegis push when you're going high ground can help out your teammate as well. And your dream does TP bottom, so Nigma Galaxy say, you know, we're in no rush to push. We'll play the lanes and push them out as well, make sure that we get a bit more farm.
I mean, it's looking pretty grim though. 14,000 net worth lead, about an 82% probability for Nigma Galaxy, and again though, like Lilgun, it was a different offlaner, but they have stalled games out with the Underlord and come back in games where we thought they weren't able to take it. So somehow they're still in this. This game's not over, and you know, we could see a miraculous high ground defense to pull it back in.
Never refuse gold given.
You look at Nigma Galaxy's lineup, it's not like they had that hero that, okay, this hero gets farmed, they win the game. It's going to be like a full kind of, you know, team effort. They're looking at that kind of 3-core approach where none of them are these true hardcore late game carries, but they all can at least scale. Like a Spirit Breaker with all the crazy movement speed from an Aghanim Scepter Charge can do a lot of damage, and a Leshrac, pretty good high ground hero.
That he is. But 11, pretty good high ground defense hero as well, as we see how much the damage Firestorm's able to do. But in your dream, he's got the help of the time lapse. Got to be cautious though. Let's see if they actually jump now after the banishment. It's going to be Alacrity that's going to try and create as much chaos in the backline. As they're charging Ace 12, they'll get rid of the Bane simultaneously. The first lap has been taken care of. Lilgun, are they able to charge up for a second round? Fiend grips out the answer instantaneously from Mizu. They've got the cancellation. Now Alacrity continuing to jump on top of the back thanks to the help of the remnants, but they still got to be cautious. They haven't killed off some of the cores. Wraith King, Sanctity still standing their ground, but it's not going to matter. Without the supports to back them up, they'll lose the lives and end up taking game 2. As Nigma Galaxy see, well, it took them some time to get to this stage, but should be a 35-minute victory in the end.
Yeah. No GG's just yet. I guess TA's buyback just came back up. But surely it's GG. They're going to prioritize going for the lanes of Rax, not going for the throne, but really solid fight. Just using that's how you go high ground. Great job, just, you know, putting all these defensive tools on Leshrac. They do end up losing the Lesh because there's some good burst damage from Lilgun, but buying enough time for Alacrity to go in the back lines, and Alacrity just doing a good job understanding the most important part of his role, which is going on these supports. Like heroes like Grimstroke and Bane, you can't allow them to just sit on the back lines casting all their spells. Hero like an Ember with an Ag Scepter, the perfect hero to hunt them down.
I mean, Lilgun is still looking to battle it out here. They haven't GG'd out just yet. Yeah. 2 full sets.
And we're seeing, yeah, Radiant didn't go for the tier 4s of the throne. They may even get the Megas. So I was with you. When you were calling it, I was like, okay, yeah, it looks like 5, no buybacks. Like, this is just game over. And it probably still is, but they're going to try and play into the Megas. They don't have the Medusa type hero, though. TA, Wraith King, these are not heroes that play well into Mega Creeps. And I think Nigma Galaxy maybe could have just gone for the throne there, but they're in a position where this game feels all but unlosable now.
28,000 lead. And like you said, they don't have that hero. I mean, Sanctity's working on the rapier, but you need quite some time to get to that stage. I don't even know if it matters if he has the rapier, just everyone else is dying around him, and that's off the back of how Mizu and Alacrity are playing on these type of heroes.
Yeah, it's so hard. Like, at this point, just having BKBs on these cores doesn't feel like it's enough.
He's got a Wind
TA
Waker.
Rapier. Can you even get up to this Rapier? Doesn't seem likely.
TA needs some assistance simultaneously. Again, Alacrity just jump in the backline, making so much chaos that they can target down the Templar Assassin, who does have a buyback. They need to enter the Fiend's Grip, and In Your Dream's going to do so thanks to the Wind Waker. They're deep inside the Dire territory, but with such an insurmountable lead, it just feels like Dire, it doesn't even matter how deep back they go. Second life for 423, but Alacrity still has plenty of remnants to play around with. Even trying to juke out the Wraith Fire Blast. 423 is going to jump in the middle of it all, but Mizu charging on forward finds the multi-man stun. Finally, the G's are dropped, and ladies and gentlemen, we are going to a game 3.
Nigma Galaxies, things are looking a little worrying for them when you see them drop that game 1, and this is the must-win series for them to make it up into Division 1. And this is a great answer. This is what you like to see from a team where it's like, okay, we're going to bounce back. We have a different strategy prepared for game 2. They go for this more kind of early mid-game style, knowing that Lilgun have the TA again. They pick like 5. Honestly, all 5 of their heroes are good against TA. Game 1, it felt like almost none of their heroes were good against TA, and it was a first phase TA. So good adjustments were made. They were, willing to take on the challenge of playing into TA. They didn't just say, okay, we're just going to ban it first phase, and they're rewarded with the win. Just good drafting and good play from Nigma Galaxy here.
100%. I think this has to give them a lot of confidence as well with how they're able to adapt. Like you said, they drafted heroes that were able to deal very well against the Templar Assassin. But not only that, it was just a completely different playstyle. With the early aggression, we saw the double supports making that movement by the first catapult timing. They just really wanted to put the TA in the grave, and also the priority they had on blocking up a lot of the camps too. So just Nigma Galaxy, a completely different outlook in this second game, which means we're going the distance here to determine if Nigma Galaxy can be promoted to Division 1, or if Lilgun can force the eventual tiebreaker up against Ragdoll for the boys on Nigma Galaxy. So we'll send it over break. See you guys shortly.